I'm Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body. And that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
John Hansen with Chris Aceto at the Arnold Classic 2022. We're here at day one of the finals. Chris, let's talk about the Classic first. It was a showdown between Terence Ruffin, who was the defending champ, and your client.
Ramon from Brazil.
Ramon, I'm sorry.
Brazilian last name, Ramon.
Yeah, I was hoping you had it.
Nope.
So it looked like Ramon looked very hard tonight, and it looked like he was going to pull off a win, but Terence got the win again for his second Arnold Classic win.
Yeah, it's an interesting, show because they have the prejudging and finals on two different stages under two different lights. And, in prejudging, well, let's just go to the finals. I think collectively people thought here, I mean, I certainly did, that Ramon won every shot pretty handily in terms of any way you measure the shots.
I did too. I thought he looked much harder tonight.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the background. I've spoken about this before, and the lighting. When you have bright, blinding lights, it was weird in prejudge, and I thought, God, Ramon looks really good, but where's the blazing detail that I just saw like an hour ago? And we went back to the hotel room, and I saw him, and I said, yeah, you just peeled.
You saw it again.
Yeah, you saw it again. And I was with Eduardo Correa, and Eduardo was making the same comment I was, which is, the light is really bright on the expo stage, and it washes out like white guys or white guys.
Yeah.
It can wash you out, or maybe you don't have a deep enough tan to be able to to kind of protect yourself from that blinding light.
Because Terence looked pretty hard this afternoon at the prejudging.
And then when Terence came out tonight under a different light, I thought, well, he's not really that hard.
As hard as he usually is, yeah.
And, under this light, Ramon looked he was just peeled out of his mind.
Yeah.
Glutes, hams, Christmas tree, cross-threaded quads.
And the color was good and everything, yeah.
So, but, it's... it is what it is. Terence Ruffin's a great bodybuilder, great poser, great symmetry flow, defending champ, second at the Olympia.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing to, if you're Ramon, you're going back to Brazil with not only 30 grand, which is like 3 billion in reals, but, you're going back as a threat to Chris Bumstead. This is someone who can beat Chris Bumstead this year.
Yeah. That's interesting because they were talking after the Olympia about Urs Kalinski, who was in third place tonight from Germany. And they were saying he's going to be the big threat to Bumstead because he was similar in height and structure. We talked about this at our prejudging wrap-up. But tonight it looked like Ramon is going to be the big threat because Ramon is significantly thicker and bigger than Urs.
Yeah, no, he's. There's every body part is bigger than Urs.
Yeah.
I coming into the show, when people are talking about Urs, I personally thought Urs got by Ramon at the Olympia solely because Urs was coming off a big win
At the
Tampa Pro, and nobody knew who Ramon was. But the judges started him as like the call out of top 11 or something on that stage. But Steve Weinberger, head judge, move him over, sees what he likes, move him over. So he moved up. They gave him a good chance to move up. But usually by the time he got close to like Bumstead and Urs, he was just so gassed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus he had travel problems too at that show,
he had
right?
travel problems for the Olympia. He didn't get in till like 7 hours before the show started.
Right.
So, anyhow. So, but having said that, Urs, great structure, youngest guy on stage.
Yeah, 23.
Yep, a lot of potential. And this division is about structure.
Yeah.
More than anything else. Not more than anything else, but if you don't have structure, you can't even compete, even at the local level,
Right.
competitively as a classic bodybuilder. So, he's got it in spades. It's just a matter of thickening up what he has.
Yeah. Yeah, Urs definitely has the potential, but he's a young kid, and he definitely needs more size, particularly in the arms, I thought, But Ramon, getting back to Ramon, I thought he was really in great condition tonight. He's got the thickness. He's got, like the impressive back, the impressive legs. So, and he seemed really happy with the results, which was a great attitude to show on stage.
Yeah, well, that's genuine.
Yeah,
that's genuine. That's
He's a genuine guy. I met him yesterday.
That's not IFBB sportsmanship. I
Right,
should,
right.
pretend that, he's he's happy to be here. His mission is his mind. He wants to win the show. He wants to win the Olympia. Jay came up to him. Jay Cutler knows a little bit about winning and said, you can go all the way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's an exciting new star in the sport, so I'm excited to see him at the Olympia or any other shows he does.
And then Breon.
Breon was fourth, and he looked great, but down to fourth. I thought maybe he would get third tonight. But
I thought I had him a solid third coming out of prejudge, and I think that I thought he was even better tonight. I think his level of muscularity, muscle maturity, the back shot, side chest, fantastic routine as well.
Yes.
Really knows how to present his body. Great control over muscle groups. I was a little bit surprised. I think Urs is light in the development.
Yeah.
And, structurally, you might say, he's got a better structure, but it's not like Breon has a bad structure in any way, shape, or form. So, that was a little surprising. But
yeah, I give credit to Breon because he keeps coming back. He's lost the Olympia a couple of years now. And, he's a former Arnold Classic champ, too. And he keeps coming back, keeps pushing it. He's got that dedication. He follows that lifestyle all year long. Yep. And so I give him credit, and I think he's got a great physique. He deserves mentioning of that,
Yeah, no, he's he's going to be competitive in any big lineup like this.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, and we also should mention Terence Ruffin won the Best Poser Award again for $10,000.
Yeah, that's in perpetuity. Yeah. The guy, it's funny. It just he has different routines.
Yeah.
I didn't like this routine, but it was the best routine.
Yeah.
It was just a different, lower energy level than what he's sometimes brings, but it's still a amazing routine.
Yeah.
All the classic guys, you can tell, work on their routine.
Yeah,
there's always something to see.
Yeah, Ramon had a good routine, and Urs had a really good routine too. I think the time limit at the Arnold is different than the Olympia. I think the Olympia, they just let him go, but I think here you only have a minute and a half or 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think this division they should open it up for
for sure. Yeah, especially with the especially
the
with Classic.
Top 7 guys, whatever, in a big show like this, let him pose for 3 minutes.
Because I was waiting for Urs to break into his breakdancing like he did at the Olympia, and he didn't get the chance.
He's saving that for tomorrow night.
Right.
Oh wait, the finals is over. Yeah. Saving it for the Olympia.
Right, saving it for the Olympia. All right, so talking about the men's open, they had the prejudging tonight. The finals will be tomorrow night. So what were your thoughts on that? Brandon was coming in as the heavy favorite because he just got second at the Olympia, and he's a former Arnold Classic champ. He's a former Mr. Olympia in 2019.
Yeah, well, my first impression of Brandon was that he was better at the Olympia, without a doubt. And my first impression of William Bonac, who I think he's neck and neck with, is he's better here.
Yeah.
So it's a contrast of these guys went 1 and 2 a few years ago. When I came out of prejudge and I thought for sure Bonac was winning. I put my money on Bonac. Brandon ended up winning that year. I think going on to win the Olympia. Maybe that was 2019. I'm not sure, but here.
Yeah, I think it was 2019. They both placed second at the Arnold.
And then here, I think here, Brandon. If I was judging the show, I would have him ahead by the smallest of margins. And if I was sitting next to another judge and he said, "Chris, you're wrong, Bonac's ahead by 2," I said, "Well, I get it."
Yeah.
William Bonac has more. His back double is really good details and traps and thickness and hams and glutes. His most muscular, is dominant.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, he hangs very well on the front double, which I didn't think he would, because he's a little bit tight through the shoulders. And he wins out. There's shots that he wins.
Yeah.
I think Brandon got better as he went on. I think he looked really flat when he came out.
Yeah, I do too.
Really small.
Really small. Yeah.
And he filled out as he went on, or he got tighter. His those side chest towards the end of prejudge and side tricep. That's kind of like he was saving being saved by a life rope. That he was seriously that he was right that he was getting better.
Yeah. I thought the same. Yeah.
His back lat spread is. Beats Bonac's, but you can factor in the lower body too if you want, because Bonac, has got better lower body from behind.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2 years ago, a coin toss in 2019.
Yeah.
And I think they're both better when they were 1-2 that year.
I do
they're
too.
Older.
Yeah,
They're older
yeah.
here. They're older. Brandon's legs were better at the Olympia, and Bonac's legs were better here. He's had problems the last couple shows, a little bit with the legs, or 2 out of the last 3 shows. But it's a coin toss.
Yeah.
And what's interesting here is we'll get to them too is they're not dominant.
No.
Because when they switch, they were in the middle the whole time. But when they switched them outside and put Kuklo and Justin Rodriguez in there, you could say like no big deal. I
Yeah.
know that sounds insulting, but it's like different bodies.
Yeah.
Because Justin is blown up,
Yeah.
and Kuklo's like dwarfs in terms of structure and size, and over those two. They just
Yeah.
have different types of physiques. And Kukla was in great condition. I think his best condition in a long time.
Yeah.
I think Steve ends up here probably third.
Yeah, you think it'll be third over Rodriguez?
Well, Justin's bigger, but and the muscle's hard, but there's like the legs aren't separated. The midsection's very washed out.
Yeah.
Delts are wobbly looking. Back double's great. I mean, he's huge. Front double's great,
Yeah.
but he's lost some. The midsection wasn't there. He's had in the past. He
Yeah.
can sit on the abs. I'm sure he was trying to sit on the abs, but he couldn't find them on the front
Well,
double.
he put on so much size.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you put on too much size too quick.
Yeah.
It's it just people
But,
want.
but he was really hard in a lot of other shots.
Yeah, most muscular, very hard. Yeah, I mean, it could go either way between those two. I just saw him, as the prejudging went on, hold more and more water.
Okay.
I think he was tight when he
Think
came
he's got no
out.
shot at second?
None.
Okay.
No, I don't think he has any shot. Having said that, like I said, the most interesting call of the entire prejudging, classic open, is when they put William and Brandon on the outside and put those on the inside, and you're like, well, Brandon's really
Yeah.
not that big.
I thought the same thing. I'm looking at all 4 of them like, wow, the
Bonac-
competition is catching up to
Yeah,
these guys.
yeah. They're not.
Yeah.
You're right.
And Kukla, like you said, he lost some weight and he came in harder, which was a better look for him because he's got such a big structure.
Yeah, he's damned if he does whatever that saying is. I think George Bush screwed it up too. He couldn't say that saying. But
Damned if you do, damned if you
if he comes in really round, the knock is we want to see you tighter. He comes in really, he had thin. People asking me because I do the play. Everyone's texting me, what's going on with the show?
Yeah.
And I thought that he. Had very thin skin, no water retention, low body fat,
Yeah.
some good, decent pop to the muscle, but just if he had 4 more pounds of muscle on that, like what he brought tonight, real pounds of muscle, five pounds of muscle, he'd win the show.
Kukla.
Yes,
Okay.
5 pounds of muscle
Really?
on that condition. Yeah, because it shows up on that structure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he can't come in too heavy either, though, because he doesn't have the smallest waist, so he will look a little, not blocky, but, he won't look as aesthetic.
Yeah. So, I mean, when they put him in the middle, like I said, he
Yeah.
looked like, okay, your eyes go to him.
Yeah.
It's funny how when your eyes go to what is in the middle.
Right,
It's
right.
like a magician.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Right. Well, that seems to be the problem with a lot of these open guys is they don't have that super sharp midsection anymore.
yeah, I mean, it's
very rare.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Brandon has the ability to really sit on the abs in the
Mm-hmm.
lineup. If his abs were like dialed in, we'd be talking like easy win.
Yeah.
Because it'd make the shoulders look even much broader. But
You think if Brandon would have came in like he did at the Olympia, it would have been a slam dunk?
yeah, I think it was. I thought the Olympia was like, yeah.
Me too. I was blown away by his condition there. Yeah,
Well,
because he
he
came in bigger and fuller.
He had crazy fullness at the Olympia. He didn't have that here, and he had probably at the Olympia, I'd say close enough to this condition. It's just that it was so round at the Olympia that it looks like it's better condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great look for him. I think he should continue to come in big like that because he's got the, he's got that blown out body parts. He's got the good structure. So he's got that fullness, or when he has the fullness with that muscle shape he has, it looks really, really dominant.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a 2-day show, just like the Classic is.
Yeah.
Under the same lighting, I will say.
Yeah, right.
But I think that anything can happen between here and I would be surprised if like there's like this big lead by any sorts by either Bonac or Brandon. I just can't see either one of them having a big lead over the other.
Yeah,
I just think it's like neck and neck, and it might come down to judges' own personal what they like. You know, that's what we do.
I was surprised with Bonac because, you know, everybody's been talking in the pregame shows that he's pretty much done. You know, his best days are over, but he came back looking just as thick as he ever was.
Yeah, no, I mean, if the show boils down to muscle density, he's the winner.
Yeah.
If you want muscle density in your Arnold Classic champion, he's the winner.
Yeah.
He can do it.
Yeah.
That's not to say that Brandon can't win, but you know he's got a dense look to his body that in some shots that you just say like, wow, that's really dense.
If you've never seen that guy in person,
it's,
when you see that dense muscle tissue in person, it makes an impression.
Exactly.
And then it looks like in fifth we got Samson Dauda and Brett Wilkins. Brett was getting a lot of momentum coming into the show. He's a new young guy. I think it's his second year as a pro. Put on a lot lot. But
he used to do bikini, I heard. I'm just kidding.
I think he was doing. He did classic. Yeah, he went through a couple of them. But he came in not as hard as I thought he would.
Well, you know what? He had the glutes, but what held him back here is the legs. Mm-hmm. The legs. They need more size, but you know he had the glutes without the leg separation.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like when people say Justin looks great. I said there wasn't much separation there, but low body fat.
Yeah.
You know, muscle pushing against the skin, but where's the, you know, deep detail?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, because some people were commenting, they said, God, Brett's way off. I'm like, no, his body fat's pretty low. You know, he's right there.
You're right. He did have the glutes when he turned around.
Yeah, but and he had, you know, back detail. I think I think he looked flat here to me. If I had to sum it up, I think it was very flat.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he looked a little smooth too, but then, like you said, when
you're flat, you're smooth, right?
Yeah,
that's why people
true.
right? And they said I ate a pizza and I was twice as hard.
But he's such a thick guy. I never thought of him as flat, but you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone can get flat, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right.
Samson, you know, he's on the cusp of, I think, like really moving up in these shows.
Yeah.
All he needs is glutes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's got good shape, good chest,
roundness.
back, good roundness, kind of like Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and small waist and just you know, fine tuning. I think he could have been harder here. I think he was holding a little bit of water, but it was a certainly impressive look. You know, when he first came out, I was like, wow, he looks gigantic. And then someone said, you guys, Chris, you're just watching the classic.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, maybe that's it, because I was like, wow, he might win. But he looked great. You know, I think fine tuning.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know he can. You know, at his best, be very highly. I mean, he was competitive to be in the first call out here, but he could even, you know, he could do some damage because of the structure.
So overall, it's a really good show, and we'll be back tomorrow for the finals. It looks like it's going to be a showdown between Brandon Curry and William Bonac.
Yep.
All right. For Chris Aceto, this is John Hansen for RX Muscle at the Arnold Classic 2022.